Yeah, just because I have to zoom out. There's some family that want to be zoomed in. Because this family is being zoomed.
I know. No? We are gathered to give Kavod Achron to the final give the final honor and respect to the life of Bela Rutman. Today is Hanukkah. One of the laws of Hanukkah is the loy mispid behind. We're not supposed to give eulogies because it's a happy day. We don't evoke sorrow. So we don't evoke sorrow. Nonetheless, we can't take it to the extent that we don't give honor to and respect to a past one. Jews have had two types of enemies throughout history. One type of enemy hated us to such extent that they wanted to murder every last Jew. So was Haman, so was Hitler, and their cohorts. There have been another type of enemies that we have had. Don't mind the Jews themselves, but hate Judaism. Those were the Syrian Greeks, the Greeks themselves as well, but we were at that time fighting the Syrian arm of the Greek Empire. In that element of history, they wanted to eradicate Judaism. Bela was born in 1928. She grew up in Stalin's years. Stalin was an enemy of Judaism, and so was his party. And they ruthlessly stamped out any trace of Judaism that they could find. Anyone who was taught Judaism was either shot or sent to Siberia to die a worse death. And so Bela grew up robbed of her Judaism. But she remained a Jew. The Gemara tells us that Jews have traits that have been inherited from our forefathers. We have a culture, and our culture includes Rachmanim, Baishanim, V'goyim lechasadim. We are compassionate people. We love and we do acts of kindness. We are devoted. We are a devoted people, and the Jewish family is known throughout the world for its extreme devotion to their children and grandchildren. She was a very strong woman. In a country full of anti-Semites, in a country where being a woman made you a second-class citizen, to some extent. She was an economist who was in charge of a group of economists. She rose high in her professional field. When when the opportunity came that they could leave the country, because it was indeed an iron curtain, you could not leave. There were guards that would shoot you if you attempted to. When the opportunity came, she left to join the Jewish people. Originally, she went to Eretz Yisrael. 1973 was a bad year in Eretz Yisrael, if you recall. It was a year of war. So afterwards, they decided to move to America. She was a proud woman. She was a strong woman. And she was devoted to her son and to her grandson fully. Her desire was to be a lawyer, and not to prosecute, but to defend. But they wouldn't let her. She couldn't get into the universities for that purpose. But that is an indication of her desire to help those who are downtrodden. I give credit to the devotion that Yuri had to his mother. He stayed with her to the very end. He did everything he could possibly do to keep her, to help her, and to keep her alive and healthy to the extent that was possible. He was with her to her last day. Such is the devotion of a Jewish man to his parents. She was a beautiful woman. Her name was Bela, that she chose for herself. Her original given name was Bonya, but Bela means beautiful in several languages. And that's, in Yiddish, we have the name Bela also. It's the same meaning. She was beautiful in her appearance, but she was more beautiful in her character. May her life continue to be an example for others in the family to follow. Yeh zichro baruch, kol nefzach v'mala Hashem dimo mi'al kol panim.
Right now, as Rabbi Tursky said, we're in a very festive time of Hanukkah. So I'm going to, and this time, it's not only about festivities, it's about miracles. So my mom, she was basically, I was always wondering why she decided to leave this world on Hanukkah during a time of miracles. And it's because her entire life was based on miracles. When she was 13, 14 years old, she was evacuated from Kiev when the Nazis came and were bombing. She survived typhus. That was a miracle. She was never even really supposed to be, born. I understand my grandmother didn't even know she was pregnant with my mom until she was, I think, maybe 5 or 6 months pregnant. So it was always a miracle. Then she had a thyroid condition that she miraculously lived with for a long time. Then she miraculously, she wanted to be a lawyer, but she couldn't. She became an economist. And in her youth, she was a skydiver, she was a skier, she was a swimmer, she was a gymnast, she was a ballroom dancer. She had a lot of passion for life. And she was just basically, somebody was looking over her. It was constant miracles. It was even a miracle from what I found, that when she married my father, I understand they were in love until I came along, and that may have changed a few things, but basically, she had a very strong personality. Her and I, we were like, for a really long time, we were like oil and vinegar. But at the end of the day, she was always there for me. She was always there for me when she, signed me up for my first Taekwondo class when I was 7 years old here in America. She was there for me when she signed me up for violin lessons, which after about 10 years, I kind of didn't like playing violin after a while. She was always there for me with, some of my crazy life adventures and personal adventures. And yeah, she was always, I think, pretty much spot on here and there in terms of certain things. She never complained. She always helped people. When she came to the United States, she helped a lot of people immigrate to the United States from the former Soviet Union. Her best friend growing up, who unfortunately I believe passed about 15 years ago, was Laura, and her son is here today with us. And a real big miracle happened about a year ago. About a year ago, she was in a nursing home for 2 years, a lot of health conditions. I decided to bring her home, but when I brought her home, there was no healthcare agencies that would take her on or take on the hours that I needed. But as my mom was always surrounded by miracles, the first miracle happened when I called Lilia Bolan at New Age Healthcare. And she got my mom, probably the best caregivers I could possibly have, who are here today. One of the caregivers, Nelia, she's an interior designer. She turned my house into something, well, maybe out of, I wouldn't say Architectural Digest, but close. Another caregiver, Tanya, she turned our house into a restaurant pretty much. And then a third caregiver who was with my mom till the end, Tanya Shirova. She was a former Russian military doctor. And, you know, the way they took care of my mom, it wasn't that they were just caregivers. It was like my mom was like a second mom to them. My mom, you know, her biggest love, I mean, I was her son, but her real biggest love in her life was her cat, Vasya, who passed away a few years ago, who was 20. I mean, talk about longevity. And of course, her grandson, Nicholas. Whenever Nicholas would come and see my mom, she would have a lot of smiles and joy in her face. And he would he would make her day. And the last time Nick was with my mom a few weeks ago, Nick was doing some of his entrepreneurial stuff. And my mom was sitting with him and helping him pack some things. My mom, she never complained about anything. And I think she had a lot of appreciation for all the people in her life. And for the first time in my life, I started to get more appreciation for all the people around me that are surrounding me in this process. My family, my friends, my caregiver, all my friends from all over the world, some of my friends who are here from Kabbalah Center, my new family and friends from Beisheim David and Rabbi Tursky, the way they took me in and helped me with a lot of things. I got a lot of appreciation. And I think now that we're in Hanukkah, I figured it out. I think that people in general shouldn't wait a year for certain holidays to expect miracles. I think the greatest way for everyone here to generate and keep manifesting miracles is to just have appreciation for everything that's positive in their life. Every one of us has challenges, and a lot of times people focus on those challenges and they don't look at the positive. But just like my mom, Bella, she would always say to me, look at the positive. And she would always tell my son, Nicholas, look at the positive. And I think that's why she was always surrounded by miracles. And I think if we continue ourselves to look at all the things that happen to us that are good and focus on the positive and appreciate, then we'll continue to have blessings and miracles in all our lives every day as well. Thank you very much. One thing I also wanted to point out, the brochure and the website says that I'm having a shiva at my house, but because of COVID, I'm just celebrating by myself. So I'm just letting everyone know I appreciate everyone coming here, but shiva is just going to really not be suitable for a lot of people because of COVID. Thank you. Do you want to say something?
Vismala David, Adon Roy, Loyachso, Benasteshi, Abetseni, Almemenuchas, Yanaleni, Nafshi, Yeshoy, Bebiancheni, Bemaglet, Sedek, Laman Shamoy, Gam, Ki Eloch, Begate, Salmoves, Lo Irura, Kiato, Yimadi, Shiftecha, Umeshantecha, Hema Yanachmuni, Tarach, Lefonai Shulchan, Neged Soderoi, Deshanta, Beshemen Roshi, Koisi Revoya. Artoy v'chesed yudefuni kol yimei chayai b'shavti b'veis Adonai liyodech yomim.
and how it is.
Sometimes they do
who want to participate in the burial, you may do so from either side of the mound.
Grave would be better. Better on the side. What do you mean by that? Huh? Over there? Well, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Like, touch
А где это? А, в Карлом парке.
Спасибо очень. Спасибо, что вы пришли.
Really sorry.
Maybe not that. Еще, наверное, 5 минут мы весь сделаем, потом закончим. Твой стул еще у меня.
Наверное, надо будет приехать помочь убрать. Там, если какие-то у тебя вопросы возникнут к лекарствам, лишь по пятому, там способы должны приехать убрать вот это голову, морфей, это они должны забыть. Если что, это я в нижних ящичках.
Не неделю, я неделю с ними. Мы потом
Потом, если что, позвонишь,
ну да.
пойду, чтобы попасть.
Смотришь.
I would stop. Stop ready? I would stop. No. You. Need more people.
It's no 2 weeks. The advisor will have to do it in 2 weeks, but I hesitate. You know, truthfully, I mean, you can get good news, but I don't think I'd be so concerned. You know, I mean, first of all, I think it's always all.
Dealing a lot of people.
Predictions this year.
You don't even know what's happening.
In total. At least before, by the time, counting one that you could. Yeah. 2 would be the max. So I said. Are you counting the previous? Yes. Okay. So now. But
Super.
come here.
That's okay.
Why don't you dinner on shorter horses?
It's over here.
Yeah, it's
David Adonai Roy Lachso b'Nosei Abatzen Meim Nechusin Alein Nafshi Yishav Yevyan Chen V'Magle Tzedek L'man Shemoy Gam Ki Elav Gates Almavis Lo Iruroki Ato Yimod Yishivtcha Misham Techo Himen Achmuni Tarlefonai Shulchan Neged Tzara Deshanta B'Shem Roshi Koyse V'Achtoi B'Chesed Yedefuni Kol Yimei Chaya V'Shavti Beis Adonai L'Yorach Yomim Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתגדל שמי רבה. ימה דברה ירותי ימלך מלכוסי בחי יהון וביומי הון ובחיי דהול בית ישראל בעגלה וזמין קריב יאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומן ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי דקודשך בריחו לילה מן כל ברהתה ושירתה תושבעתה ולמחתה תאמרם בעלמה ויאמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the funeral. If we can have an aisleway, a shura formed away from the grave where friends and extended family form an aisleway, and Yuri will walk through, and we can offer them traditional worship condolences. Right here. Turn around. Right here. Turn around. Right. Give me 1 second. That's pouring. No. Just. This concludes the funeral. They may return to your cars. You're gonna make an announcement?